I'm just gonna warn you, I live with my parents and they're home and they're loud, so it is what it is. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm fresh out of the shower. It's allergy season, so my face is really red and blotchy, which is great. And I'm just gonna get started doing my makeup. So my face is a little bit dry because it's been several minutes, obviously, since I've showered, and now I'm setting up, and I look great in my towel, don't I? So I'm just going to use this organic rose hydrosol from 100% Pure to just moisten my face a little bit. Oop, the nozzle of this is terrible. Anyway, so I'm not really into using typical primers. I don't like them. I just find that a good moisturizer will do the same job. So I'm going to be using First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream on my face just to sort of keep it hydrated and smooth and primed for makeup application. Oh, it feels so much better. I can't even tell you. I have really dry skin. So I'm going to start with foundation. I just have a little sample pot of this, but it's actually enough to last me quite a long time. This is the Bobbi Brown Stick Foundation. And I'm just going to take kind of your standard foundation brush. This is the Eco Tools foundation brush. And just kind of starting with the middle of my face, brush it on. I like to use downward strokes because if you use an upward stroke when you're applying foundation, it will catch on the peach fuzz, and all of a sudden they'll be like really obvious and visible, which is kind of a weird phenomenon that happens. I really love these foundations because they're very creamy and they spread really well, and they're fragrance free, which is great if you have sensitive skin. But they're not the greatest for oily skin because they do kind of have a little bit of a dewy finish. And if you like a matte finish, then I would not use these, but I'm not really about that. So the key to applying foundation is to actually use very little of it. You want to use enough to cover your face, but to just cover it in a very thin layer. And then if you have places in your face that are a little bit more red or just a problem area that you want to cover, you can do that by just going back to those areas and adding more where you need it. So I have a lot of blotchiness around my nose right now because it is allergy season and I suffer terribly from allergy. Now, this is a little controversial, but I like to put foundation on my eyelids and under my eyes instead of using kind of an eye primer, just because I have an eye primer, but it's kind of like this weirdly shimmery finish. It's the Urban Decay Eye Primer Potion, but it is this one, and it's the Greed, so it's like really sparkly and glittery, and I'm going to do a matte eye today, so I don't want to use that. And foundation can work just as well, but if you have oily eyelids, you want to not do that because then you're going to end up with a lot of creasing. But everything with me is dry, 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 so that's not an issue. Yeah, so you want your skin to look natural and healthy, but you know, just a little bit better. What? I like to do my concealer at the end just because I never know what's going to be covered up by blushes and bronzers, and it's just going to get shifted around and moved if I don't do it last, so that's going to come later. I'm going to go ahead and get started on my eyes. So I have the Naked 2 palette here, and I'm just going to take this color, Foxy, and I'm going to use my finger, my middle finger, and I'm just going to apply it all over the lid. You can use a brush. Usually I find for applying it all over the lid, it's just quicker and easier for me to use my finger, especially if I want to put on quite a lot of product, which I do. This is just kind of like a color that's very close to the skin tone, just sort of, but it's got a little bit of yellow in it, so it takes out any redness, which is nice. And then I'm going to take the brush that comes with it, and I'm going to dip it into Tease, which is this matte sort of grayish, like taupey shade. And I'm just going to start blending it into the outer corner, into the crease. Just a little bit, just for definition. I'm not doing a spectacularly dramatic eye. I'm going to do kind of the liner is going to be the focus of the eye because I'm going to do a little bit of a cat eye, but I just want to have a little bit of definition. I have like two mirrors. One of them is here and one of them is here, and it's really weird to film this. I've actually never filmed one of these before, so I'm sorry if it's terrible. Anyway, so just to talk about foundation for a second. When it comes to dates, first dates especially, you shouldn't really stray too far from what you normally wear. So if you normally don't wear anything, then no more than a tinted moisturizer. And if you maybe wear a tinted moisturizer from day to day, you might want to wear just kind of a light coverage foundation. But nothing too heavy, nothing just that's completely different from how you would normally wear your makeup, because you do want to let this person know who you are and what you're like from day to day. I mean, ideally. An honest relationship. That's what we're going for, right? Well, assuming you like the person, of course. Now, I've always been really messy at this. So one of my favorite little tricks to do is to take a Q-tip, like so, and wherever I have kind of any overflow or spill, I just roll it up on that area, and it takes off any excess product without kind of pulling too much at the skin, which is nice. Next, I'm going to use Highbrow. I love this product. This is a product that traditionally is just kind of used here, and it's kind of a matte baby pink pencil that's designed to lift the eyebrows, and it does. It works really, really well. It requires some care and blending, but the effect is that it gives your eye a really rested look. It's kind of an expensive product. You could just use a matte eyeshadow. I did that before I ever owned this, and it makes a huge difference. But there is one thing that I get out of this that you can't use an eyeshadow with, and that's that I use it to line the waterline. So it has really, really great staying power. So using this on the waterline, it will last all night, which is kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find a product that will do that. Next, I'm going to do my brows. And I have a little bit of a strange way of doing my brows. Instead of using kind of a brow product, I use eyeshadow. And I use the Too Faced Smoky Eye Palette. I just kind of use the brown shade that's called, I have no idea what it's called actually. Do these even have names on them? Well, whatever, I use this dark brown color, and I take 2 dabs of this and a dab of just this matte black. And what I'll do is I'll use the brushes that come with them, because this brush here makes a really great eyebrow brush. I can't talk. Eyebrow brush, because it's really stiff, which is great. You can use a pencil or whatever. I have several pencils. I just think I get a better finish this way. I'm going to use this Chanel eyebrow pencil, not for the pencil part, but for the brush part. Now, here's what you do, and this is like really unusual, but I learned this from somebody else, and it's changed my life. So you actually take the hairs and you brush them down rather than up. This way you can sort of see the natural line of where your brush begins and ends. Your brow begins and ends. And then it's very easy to fill in any gaps. And that's all you want to do. I mean, you don't want to look like unnatural. Like, as much as I like a strong brow, there's a limit to everything. And start with a little bit at a time. You can always add more product as you go. But I like to start kind of in the middle of the brow and then sort of do the front last, because I like to have a lot less product in the front where it becomes very obvious if you're very product-y. And then I'll just take this and I'll brush it through, up, and then to the side, and then down, like that. Next, I'm gonna do eyeliner. And like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit of a cat eye. Now I'm gonna be honest. I make mistakes when I do a cat eye. Sometimes I make mistakes and I have to go in and fix it, and that's okay. And sometimes it doesn't come out perfect, and that's okay. I'm using the K Palette Real Lasting 24-Hour Eyeliner. It's One Day Tattoo. It's Korean, I believe, and it is really, really good. The lasting power is terrific, and it's got a felt tip, so it is just really nice to work with. And I'm going to start at the middle, sort of work my way out. And I start with a thin line. I can't imagine that watching me do eyeliner is interesting. Anyway, your eye makeup for going out on a date is your opportunity to like have fun with your makeup, I think. That's kind of where you can be the most adventurous. I tend not to be super adventurous with date makeup because likely I will be drinking, and when I come home after, even if I've only had one or two, I become a lot lazier about taking off my makeup, so I find that the simpler I do it, the better. Now I'm going to curl my lashes with the Shiseido Eye Curler. And I'm going to use Heroine Make Long and Curl Mascara. You can't even see that on this camera. That's how bad this camera is. Okay, I need to buy a new camera. Noted. I could do false lashes with a look like this. I won't tonight. In fact, I almost never do false lashes just because they're a lot of trouble to remove. I mean, not that they're trouble to remove. They're actually quite easy to remove, but they're kind of trouble to put on, and it's annoying. Then all of a sudden in the middle of the date, you know that it's coming off a little bit and you have to run to the bathroom and touch up, and when it comes to makeup, my philosophy is set it and forget it. So the only thing that I want to even consider reapplying during an evening is maybe lip product. Next, I'm going to use a bronzer. This is the Sephora bronzing powder in Bora. It's quite nice. It's got a little bit of shimmer in it, but it's not really glittery and it's not totally matte. And I'm going to be applying it with the Sephora Professional Angled Blush Brush. So I'm just going to tap into it 2 or 3 times. Start in the middle and then just create a nice C. Start in the middle and just create a nice C. And then a brush down here, a brush down here, a brush down here, brush down here, and across the bridge of the nose. That's it. Next, I'm going to be using a blush. As you can see, I'm always using a lot of samples, so I love samples, and I get them from Birchbox. So this is theBalm Hot Mama. This is beautiful. It's kind of reminiscent to me of NARS Orgasm, but way more wearable. I mean, NARS Orgasm is a glitter factory on my face. I don't like it, but this is beautiful, and I'm using an Essence of Beauty blush brush to apply it. This is like actually a surprisingly good blush brush. So I'm going to start kind of in the middle right here and just apply it very gently going up. Next, I'm actually going to go back to my Bobbi Brow Stick Foundation. I'm going to use this as concealer as well. So I'm just going to put this using my ring finger, just tap it on to any spots I might have, which I have quite a few of at the moment. And if that doesn't work, which sometimes it's really not enough, I actually use this because it happens to be just the right color for my complexion. Lastly, I'm just going to dust with powder. I'm using Stript Mineral Veil. This is actually really hard to find now and it's quite expensive, but I have repurchased it. This is my second one and I just love this powder. I think it's the best loose powder I've ever used. And I just like to take a little bit, about that much, onto my brush, tap off the excess, and just over my T-zone. Last but not least, at least for makeup, let's talk about lip products. Now, this is just my personal opinion, but if you're hoping to get a kiss, you probably shouldn't go for the super bright, bold lip, just because I think it can be intimidating, and besides, it's just going to get all over your face. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. So I think a really great option would be something like a stain or a tinted lip balm or a tinted stain, like a balm stain. These are really popular right now. A lot of companies make them. Drugstore companies make them. I have this one by Tarte, and these are really great. And you can also just go with a nude lipstick. So that's what I'm going to do because I'm going for kind of a more mod look. And I'm going to be using ALBEIT lipstick. These are great. You can buy these at Anthropologie. This color is called Bisque. It's just this gorgeous, like, creamy nude shade. And I can just apply this straight from the bullet because it's not a bright color. That's my makeup. Now let's do my hair. So I'm going to take my Pearson C5 comb and just brush the hair forward. I mean, obviously, like, none of this will be helpful to anybody that doesn't have a pixie haircut, but I think that's generally true of makeup. Like, this look might just not work for you. This is something that I would typically wear on a date. I like to use Phyto 7 for my hair. And I just take about that much and just smooth it into my hair. This is kind of like a hair moisturizer, so it's going to give it some softness and some shine, but not really a whole lot of hold. And now I'm going to take my Pearson brush. This is the child brush, by the way. It's the cheapest one, and it's really quite enough for me, and just brush over it. What's great about these brushes is that they sort of distribute the natural oils in your hair really well. And it really kind of creates body and smooths the hair. For hold, I'm using Shinade Pomade by B, which kind of looks like that and smells like Elmer's glue, which is not so appealing, but gives me a bit of hold. So I'm just going to straighten my bangs a bit. Just a touch. And I think when you're straightening your bangs, the important thing is to remember to round down so that you don't end up with like a flip this way, which has happened to me because I'm just bad at this stuff. I also like to set my makeup with something that comes in a spray bottle. So I'm going to use this stuff again, but I'm going to hold it further from my face. Still really bad. And now it's time to get dressed. So this is my outfit. My dress is from Urban Outfitters. Sorry, my bunny's making noise. Lulu, shut up. My dress is from Urban Outfitters. My belt, so you can see closely, even under this bad lighting, is from Anthropologie. And my shoes, which you can't see at all, these are from eBay. And my earrings are from Claire's, I think. I'm gonna go out, but I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.